Scrappy peeps, it's Inkie Quill. That was a bit of a funny wave. And we're doing part 2 of the craft room tour today. I decided to split it up into 2 bits because I rambled a lot yesterday and I just felt chatty. I haven't filmed a face-to-face video in such a long time and we just chatted a bit and it got a bit longer than I expected. I shouldn't have been surprised at all, because if you've been around here for a long time you'll know we do like our tangents, but it got extra tangenty. So today we are craft room touring that side of the room and my desktop. If you haven't watched part 1, maybe pause this video, go back and watch part 1, which was uploaded yesterday, so that you get a sense of how the room looks as a whole and see this monstrosity of Kallax IKEA storage. A bit of an update if you are only tuning in now. Oh, I just, look at that. Oh, you probably can't see because of stabilization, but I just realized my camera is missing a screw, and so my flip screen is hanging on by one screw. That's fun. That's great fun. But bit of a life update. I'm Adele and I have 2 channels here on YouTube. I have 3, but 2 channels for crafting, arting stuff. I have Inkie Quill, which is here where you are, which I do scrapbooking, paper crafting, project lifing, craft room organisation. I've been on here for years and years and years. Is it been 7 years? Might be 7 years. It's been a while. So there's years and years of videos to watch. There's many craft room tours of previous houses because we do move around quite a bit. And then I have a second channel called Let's Get Inkie, where I do art journaling, traveller's notebooks, generally bits and bobs. And I have a Patreon called Inkie Quill where I do both. And I do 8 videos a month over there, plus I design a printable collection every month as well. And I'm on Insta. Is that it? Oh, I started TikTok, but I don't really get it. I don't really understand TikTok. I do understand it, but I prefer Insta. So yeah, I have a TikTok as well. But yeah, let's get started. I go on tangents, and so that's something to be prepared for if you're a newbie as well. But let's start with the desktop, because I feel like that's where the action is. I also realised how reflective my glasses were in that entire clip, so I'm very sorry about that. But I have big studio lights and I can't escape them, and if I take off my glasses, I can't see. So this is where I sit to make all of the messy magic happen. It's a bit of an overview as to what's to my left and right. Also, if you can hear noises in the background of tape and drilling, we're moving house in 3 days. Yep. 3, not 33, 3. So I have to pack up this whole thing today. Help me, please. So that's noises of my husband taking apart our bed and packing up our bedroom. So let's start over in this corner. Actually, let's start with the desk. So the desk is a tabletop, 2 tabletops from IKEA. One of them is longer and one of them is shorter. I think this one's 120 centimeters and this one's 90, and this one here is connected with 4 screw-in legs. This one only has 2 screw-in legs, and then the other side of the desk is just plonked on top of these Alex drawers, which I showed in the last video. So this is my little ephemera drawers, and I did a big long chatty video on Patreon probably a year ago where I bought these and we sorted them out and we talked about categories and problems and challenges and all sorts of things. I got this from Spotlight and I do love it, but it's too far away from my desk to use frequently, and yeah, which is frustrating. And so I just wrote labels on, and some of the drawers are a bit tricky. Oh, this is floral, so it's like bursting. But the thing that frustrated me with this set of drawers is that some of the drawers are really skinny, as you can see, and a lot of the ephemera these days is giant, and so they wouldn't fit in the bigger bits, and so that was a bit annoying for me because there was a lot of categories that I couldn't fit everything into. So then I found a new solution, which I'll show you down here, but I'm still using this, and I do use it if I put my mind to it, but this is working kind of well. It just needs to be closer to my desk. Next to it over here, I have these containers from Muji, which I absolutely love. Oh look, it's baby Adele. This has a bunch of photos that I need to sort, so we'll just ignore that. But I have these containers from Muji, which are, they must just be over 12 by 12. Oh, sorry, 12 inches across. They might be like 12 and a half. And they're nice and deep, and they hold paper pads beautifully. And I have a video, again, on Patreon. If you want to see a lot more organisation things and longer videos, a lot of my videos there are 45 minutes or an hour long, and have a bit of a different focus than what I do on YouTube. Then you can head over there and have a looky. But I did a video where I organised all of these, and it's been working brilliantly. I have a lot of paper pads, a lot of paper pads, and so this is definitely something that I will be keeping close to my desk, like right next to me, so that I can grab them easily. This is my Project Life card storage, which is not very fancy. I did buy a different container which I need to swap them into, but essentially it's just an old cardboard box, and I have all of my 3x4s at the front and then 4x6s at the back, and I can flick through them. They're nice and handy, close by. It works for now. Not everything has to be, you know, brilliant storage solutions. If you find a cardboard box that works for you, go with it. Let me sit down and put you on the tripod. So right next to my desk, nice and close, I have this little container which I keep little gold glitter hearts and stars that I've punched out because I use them on freaking everything. I also have my gesso. I did have this elsewhere on the brown bookcase, but I've been doing a whole lot of journaling videos, and so it just stays there now. It's just easier. I use it too much. I've got a notebook that I'm writing down some class ideas. Isn't this pretty? When this notebook's finished, I want to rip off the cover and use it as a junk journal, I think. Whoa. I have white cardstock, which I mat all of my photos in, just in a page protector. My trimmer, I love the Fiskars trimmer. This is the Teresa Collins one. I've had it for years and years and years, and it works out well. I've got some photos that I need to sort. We'll just ignore those. And some chipboard that I was recently using. And then in this container, I love these containers. They're just from the stationery store. I think they're file folders. That's what they call, or file, I don't know what they call them, but they're with all of the display folders and that type of thing. And I just keep my craft foam in there, nice and handy. I also use these for kids' puzzles, like wooden puzzles and things, and it stores them really well. So if you need some toy storage ideas, a lot of these things also works for toy storage. Alright, next up we have the drawers that are working. So these are also from Spotlight, which is our like big craft store here in Australia. And let me bring these forward. Ooh. Now they might be a bit shadowed because of my lighting, sorry. But I have a video on Patreon where we sorted all of this, and we had a big long chat about ephemera and craft room storage and things. And so all I do is I put in the ephemera pack, I cut out the title bit, the backing page. There is a divider, so some of them I have used the dividers for, like this one has 2 different collections in it. And then I just cut out from the packaging what the collection's called. And Bob's your uncle. That means, is that a phrase everyone uses? We've chatted about that before. I say Bob's your uncle a lot. It just means, there you go. If you're wondering, who's Bob? Why is she talking about a family? But yeah, that is really, really working, and it's right here. So my tripod's here where I film, and my messy craft desk, you can tell where the journals and scrapbook layouts sit. So that's the only way it's going to get used. So I don't know how we're going to move the purple one nearby. We have to figure it out. I should add, the craft room that I'm moving into is probably twice the size of this room, which is great. However, it has a big like outdoor sliding door and internal sliding doors and a wall of wardrobe. So there's a few challenges, and I haven't quite worked out where my desk is. I'm considering having a floating desk in the middle of the room, but I don't know. If you have ever done that, if you have a floating desk in the middle of your crafty space, do you like it? Does it work? If you use lights, does that work? I don't know. So here is my recording setup. I got these lights on eBay about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and they're fab. I just typed in studio lights and they popped up. They don't, the seller doesn't sell them anymore, but yeah, there's lots. This one looks bent because it's just squished, but it still works out well. For my tripod, I've tried many a thing. This seems to be working at the moment. So this is actually, I think it's a microphone stand or a music stand. I got it from a music shop. And as you can see, it's been well used. It's very well splattered. And on it, I then have an arm attached. So then the arm comes out and I have this tripod attachment that is cable tied on and duct taped. Very profesh, very profesh. But yeah, so it's one of these stands that has, you know, you can plug a microphone or something important, a music stand or something into it. But you've just got to do what kind of works for your space. The one thing I would suggest is to not have your tripod touching your desk. So I have about 2-inch gap here, because anything I do on my desk, it shakes the tripod if it's leaning on it, which I have found out from previous tripods. So I think I have a heat pack as a like kind of a weight to make it go that way. Here's a happy little corner of my desk. So this is where I work. The thing that I like about the IKEA tables is that I don't care about them in that they're not precious. This was very cheap. I think it was maybe $20, $30. It was very, very cheap, marked down. And I think I got it from, did I get it from the As-Is place at IKEA and it had a chip on it? I can't quite remember. But I've been through 2 of these and I've just come to the realization that I'm too inky and I can't, there's no point having a mat because I go off the mat. And yeah, so this is my workspace. Over in the corner here I have my paint containers, and so I always have 3 on the go because I'm a slight bit lazy, and when I'm in the middle of filming I don't want to change my water. And so the Vegemite containers, the 380 gram ones, are perfect if you have those. So they're nice and wide, and yeah, they're just the absolute perfect size. And then I use a couple of, you know, spice jars as well. Then over here we have a little mixture of things. I have my beloved ATG Advanced Tape Glider. Choo-choo! I always do feel like a bit of a craft superhero when I do use this. This is a double-sided tape contraption where you just go like and it puts tape on for you. Very handy. The tape, however, is extremely expensive, the Scotch brand, so I get an off-brand by Tape Jungle, and it keeps me out of trouble for a while. I love little containers. That's something you should know about me. And so I retired a few cups from my mugs in our kitchen because we had too many, and so I have this little one which is filled with my favorite Posca paint pens, which are the short and stubby ones. They are PC1M bullet shaped 0.7 millimeters if you're interested in them. So I have all of my cool colors in one, and then look at this, peeps. Look, oh, she's got an earring. She's not meant to have an earring. Go back, tape. Look at this little cup. I picked this up in a beautiful little store near me, and it's just so precious, and I could never drink out of it. She has got quite splattered. I need to scratch those bits off. But this has all of my warm coloured Posca paint pens because I use these all of the time. There's no point them being with the rest of my paint pen storage. This little one is one that used to be in my kitchen but is now not, and this just has all of my favourite pens in it. I absolutely love the Pilot G207. I use that for everything. Recently I got a Jet Pens order, which may or may not have been uploaded to YouTube yet. It'll be on Let's Get Inky, and it's a very long and chatty one, so if you love stationery, make sure you subscribe and keep your eyes peeled for that if it's not already up. But there's a few new pens that I've been using. This one has been really nice. This is, let me focus, Zebra Sarasa clip in the 07. That one I use quite a bit as well. And then just another little vase that has a crack in it with some scissors. I have a container here that has all of my current tapes. It's got foam tape, glues, glue sticks, nothing much exciting there. And then these little containers have DIY embellishments in them. So this is just a pretty little bowl with some that I made over on Patreon. If you love DIY embellishments, I make them probably every 6 weeks or so over there. Here's some more that I recently made, and some more. So having these nearby has been really helpful for me to actually use them. Alright, let's do these Alex drawers while we're here. These are the ones that I use every single time that I film. I could not do without these next to me, so this is a definite to carry over to the new place. This top drawer has all of my labels in it, and I'm a big fan of containers within drawers so that you can just pull them out and get what you need. And I separate all except this one, which is just thrown in here. I separate my labels into warm colours, and then cooler colours is at the back. And then at the front here I just have post-its, and this is meant to be on my tape roller thing, but I don't have it on there. And my tiny attacher stapler is nice and handy. Then the next drawer, oh, that's a pretty sight. That's a very pretty sight. Is all of my most used washi. I've just realised how much washi I have. I love washi. And this was a wooden container that my son got some toy cars in, and I promptly stole it from him because I realised it would be perfect for washi tape, and he didn't need it anyway. He wanted the cars out of it, not the packaging. And then these are just some little containers that I got from Kmart that fit washi in it well. Then the next one, this is also a very well used and well loved drawer in my stash. So I have this little container at the front that has all of my background stamps that I use in art journaling. And then these are some bags that I've had for years from Dilutions and Ranger. And I've just separated all my paints into cool colours, so your blues, your greens, dark purples, blacks, greys, and then the warm colours, pinks, reds, orange, yellows. Purple's a bit of a funny one because it can kind of sway both ways. If it's a cool tone purple, like a darker purple, I put it in here, and if it's a pinky purple, I put it in here. But this is really handy for if I'm going to a crop, I can just grab this and pack it as is. That's how it started, and then I realised they fit in the drawer really well. But you'll notice I separate a lot of my things into cool and warm colours, and I just find that it's easier to quickly grab something and to also coordinate. So if I'm doing a page, I know that any of these colours here will go together, and likewise with the warms. At the back I have a container of roller stamps and some tiny little ink pads. I have my watercolours down here, as well as these little packs of watercolours that I use quite frequently, so they're handy to grab. I have a couple of sprays that I bought recently that I've only used once, and so I've put them in here to remind me to use them. This little container holds my acrylic inks. I absolutely love acrylic inks. They are so fun to play with, and you can just, I just feel like they're really, woo, they're a better purchase than watercolors. You get more pigment and more of an opaque look than watercolors, and then just a couple of clear blocks here as well. I can't put you on the tripod here because there's not enough room, so sorry about the wobbles. This next drawer gets a lot of love too. It's just punches and sponges. So I just have a couple of different containers that have my most used ones at the front. This one has some more. I've got inks in here. That one of my punches is broken and this has come off it, and I've got to figure out how to fix it. It's this one here. There it is. This one here. I've got to figure out how to put that back on. And then for my stenciling, I just use these makeup sponges that I get from Kmart. And if they get a bit too chunky at the bottom, I just cut off the bottom bit, and so we just keep getting shorter and shorter. And then the bottom drawer is just random things, wipes, some de-stash goodies, and I think we've got some spare printer paper in there as well. So under my desk I have my beloved stencil folder, which will forever stay right here under my desk. I have my heat gun. I really need like a hook right here. Maybe in the new house I might get around to actually putting a hook to hang that there, because usually it just sits there, which is really not productive. But I have my stencil folder, and I have a video from maybe 2 or 3 years ago on Patreon sorting this and talking about the categories that I used and how I store them. And then I have a 12 by 12 one as well for the larger stencils. This is a box of older scrapbook magazines that I want to go through and make a new series of. And then this is my urban sketching kit for when I go urban sketching. We're getting there, peeps, we're getting there. There's a lot to go through, and I like details. But yeah, the new room is going to be quite different because I'm used to, I don't know if it's because I'm right-handed, but I like when I'm filming to have everything to the right of me that I use most often, and it's going to be a bit different in the new room. I will do a craft room tour once I've set up the new space, so that will probably be June. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hoping to do the Inkie June Marathon this year. If you would like to see the Inkie June Marathon, let me know in the comments so that I know enough people want to see it and want me to do it, and what you'd like to see for that as well. If you don't know, over some of the past years that I've been on YouTube, June is my month, and I have done a video every single day in June before, so if you'd like that back, let me know in the comments. But let's now go, I think we need the brown bookcase. I feel like that's the next organic place to go to. Organic, I hate the word organic when we're talking about things like this. Ugh, it's like vibes. Ugh, I hate those words. Not hate, that's a strong word. I dislike them. But let's organically go across to the craft vibes over here. All right, she's big, she's bold, she's a big brown bookcase that I've had for a lot of years that I picked up off a garage sale, and she's not connected to the wall, which is a hazard for the children, but she's very wedged in there. I don't think there's any way that it would be able to fall down past this Alex drawer, and the kids aren't allowed to come in here anyway. We'll start right at the top. So at the top I have a few pretty things. I have my fabric, which I used for my 100-day project several years ago as backgrounds over on Instagram, good old Graham, the Instagram. If you look up Adele does 100 Inkie days, then you will find all of the photos from that journal that I made. This was a tea jar. How pretty is that? Or coffee, that's what it was, coffee. So I've got some gouache in there, sequins, little knickknacks. I've got matches for my candles. And this beautiful bunny mug that a subscriber sent me. And then down here, this tub, I'm going to be honest, it's empty, which is really handy, very handy. And these tubs are also empty, so they're there just for the move, because I took something away from there and yeah, need to figure out what's happening. This is a box that has all sorts of twine and ribbon and glitter in there. And then we have some more pretty knickknacks. There's my dad down there, and then yeah, just a few little good cute things. This is a wooden puzzle box that my grandpa had. And then we move down. The thing that I like about this bookcase is that it has different sized shelves, so you can really put little knickknacks on the shorter, shallower shelves. That's a tongue twister. In here I have my tags bowl. This has lasted many moves and seems to be working. So my tags just go in this random IKEA bowl, I think it is. I have this book from my favourite artist, Claire Bremner. Her Instagram is just beautiful, so I put that there as inspiration. This is where I store my cards that I make in my Can We Card Make series on Patreon, and I need to go through them and resort them. I hurriedly went through and picked out a few there that I've got to put in the right spots. Let me just pop that back there. And then let's go down another one. This is a shelf that I use a lot. I've just got my twine in a good old... well, that's gone down to the abyss. I've got some twine that was in a cardboard box. This is from Aldi. Oh, my battery's flashing. Hang on a mo. Okay, we're back. So this was from Aldi, and it's meant to be for like cutlery. So you put your cutlery in these 3 sections, and then there's a longer one at the back. And I use it for pens, and it just fits so snugly. So keep your eyes peeled for Aldi for some of their bargains. They have a lot of great deals. Down here we have a container called Tissue and Vellum, which I have outgrown. So in the new house we are going to have to figure out a solution there because it's not working. And then on here I have more DIY embellishments that I have made that I need to use. Oh, that's an unpleasant sound. Down there is the abyss, and it has things that I don't use often. It has a few spare mugs if I need extra pen containers. It has some older enamel dots. It has some, what do we have here? TN supplies, paper bags, and a mystery container. So we just don't go down there very often. But this up here, this is my favourite shelf. It's a pretty shelf. So I've got my gesso over here. My big gesso was here, but I moved it. I love crystals, and I just find them fascinating. The formations of rocks in real life. So you'll see lots of those scattered around. This container, I do feel like it could be used better. It has some of the snap little flaps for photos for Project Life, and then I have some 6x6 paper pads in there as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that in the new place. Spare brushes in one of my Inkie Quill. Whoa, focus. We're really not enjoying our life right now. Here we go. Some Inkie Quill mugs over on my website, and then these I think are meant to be candle holders from IKEA, but I use them to put my Prismacolors and my Tombow dual brush markers in there. So that's just my favourite little shelf there. I love that one. Down here we have another little pot of pens. We have my current, let me show you this. So this was my muckabout journal for July and August. So this was a new project that I did on Patreon where we made this junk journal, and I used it instead of using scrap bits of paper. I used this instead, and I absolutely loved it. Love. I've made myself another one for the next month, and I'm also doing a December daily in this style as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, that'll be all over there. This set of drawers is my life. I use it all the time. It's my paper scraps. So I've got neutrals, black, white, pinks and reds, similar to the papers, blues, and then all the colours I don't usually use, yellow, orange, green, multicolour. They're all there. Up here, oh, hang on, let me use 2 hands and get these out. So these are my pins, and I absolutely love crafty pins. I've collected them for years, and I just attach them to, this is one of my Inkie pouches on my website if you're interested, and I've overflowed that one, so I've just started a new one. some of my faves. I love this one, the Rascog, and a map. I love a good map. Foxes, you know, paint jars, crystals, Van Gogh, all of the things. So these are very special to me, and I don't use them for anything, I just look at them. And then if we go down a level, so this one down here, I use this a lot. Again, this is one of those containers from Aldi, and I keep my Posca paint pens in one side, colour coded into warm, or it's basically pinks and then warms and cools. And then my webcam is in there for where I do live streams. And in this container we've got some craft foam, and in the one below it it's some traveller's notebook things. And then this is a bit of a hodgepodge. She looks a lot worse than she is, but these pouches have different things. We've got doilies, we've got labels, tags, ephemera, that kind of thing. And then in this container right down here we have punches. I have hot glue guns just shoved here because I was doing a craft with them not long ago and I haven't put them back where they belong. So this is just a bit of a hodgepodge. So if we back away from the hodgepodge and go up to some more organised things, this basket is actually usually right next to my desk on the floor, and these are my projects that I'm filming for this week, and I just keep everything in here to keep it together. So this week I've got my Story album, which I don't think you peeps would have seen because this is one that I just do on Patreon, but it's kind of like a childhood album where you go through and do all sorts of childhoody things. And hang on, and I've made like little pages of my favourite PlayStation 1 games and books that I used to read and all sorts of things. So I've done quite a bit of it and we're just working our way through it. So I want to film a video on that. Probably not this week because of the move, the impending doom of the move. Hang on, I can't close it. I'm going to have to find another 6x8 album for this. But yeah, so that's here. What else have we got here? We've got a map book that I want to do some inspo from. This is my this is my December muckabout journal. So this is what I'm using for December daily for 2022, which is going to be exciting, but of course not starting that yet. I have a junk mail journal that I'm working on, and my project redo, which is my travel album. So this just all sits nice and tidy next to my desk, and I'm actually going to add, sorry, I hope you're not getting sick by the camera angles. I'm actually going to add these. So my the kids' daycare has a library box outside, and so it's just a public place where it's a little box where you can drop off books and you can take the books that are there, and it's just, you know, there's no library card system, it's just a trust system type thing, and you can keep them. Yeah, it's not like a borrowing service. And so these are in there and they are old. So this one is from, does it have a date? Let's see. No, it doesn't, but we've got some very old school pages in here that I am excited to have a go at scrap lifting. So I'm actually going to put these in here, and they can be for when I set up the craft room and film a video. Now this is a new little storage system that I've added only in the last few months. Part of it is working, part of it is not working, and a lot of it is just from laziness. Up the top here I have the kids' art journals, and so every year, if you didn't see the reel that I posted on Insta a little while ago, every year they have an art journal. So this is how I store their artworks for the year. So this is art from 2021, and so I just put, you know, a little photo of them at the front, and I tend to write little hang on, the focus is just really not liking me at the moment. I write little descriptions of what, the things are. So his first time writing his name. Let's see. He was tracing some things. This is something that he did at daycare that he was really proud of. So I put a photo that they sent home and the little observation of it. He loves to draw maps, loves to follow things, and I just feel like this is a really nice way to keep everything together, and also just write a little story in it. So the kids have some now. Obviously the artworks are a bit different from when he was younger, and you can actually make out what the things are meant to be, but it's just a nice way to remember the bits that he's made. So they're up there. I have to add the 2022 ones too. This is a basket that I have neglected, and it is just it's just words. I was going to say adulting because I was reading the word there. It's just words thickers, so I really need to use that. I think having it up there is too high from when I film, so I don't like to use it. This has some exciting things that are coming to the Inkie shop this year sometime. And then down here, this is where I put the journals and albums that I'm working on currently. So there's usually a couple of these aren't usually in here, and there's a 12 by 12 album that I'm working on for scrapbooking, but these are my current journals. So this is my favorite one at the moment. This is my flow journal. And it is I call it my Jamie journal part 2, and it's a altered cookbook, and all of these process videos are over on Patreon, and I don't have too many pages left, but this has been one of my favorite journals to ever work in, so that's been really fun. Now I'm not going to be able to get it back in, so we're just going to put that there and pretend that's where it belongs. But yeah, so these are the albums that I'm currently working in. Over here, these are some alphas that also are a little neglected, but they're a bit messy, so I kind of don't want them out. I like them behind the closed door, but I feel like the containers that they're in aren't really working for the tall letters, so I need to do a bit of a switcheroo there. This is a mystery box which has things that don't belong there. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, this space is my dumping ground, so often there's things piled up there, but it's clean for now. And these are things for upcoming videos and some clothes that I am going to offer my friend. Are we done? Is that it? I think it is. I think that's the whole space. And I should add, this is my very well loved computer chair, which she's seen better days. She's very painty, but she's still working for me. And then I have my apron that I just drape over here, which, ooh, bit of a sneaky peek for things you might see this year. But I love my little space, and it's going to be fun to set up a new space because I just feel like this one has felt quite stuck. Yeah, I've just felt a bit in a rut. I think the problem is because of the wall space, there isn't a lot of room to move the furniture around. There's kind of only one configuration that I can have with the brown bookcase, the white bookcase, and my desk. The white bookcase doesn't fit along that wall properly with enough space for my desk, so I've just felt a bit stuck. And whereas if you have watched quite a few of my craft room tours, you'll know that I like to move my craft room around a lot. I just feel like it freshens up the room and kind of makes things not as stagnant. And so if you're in a bit of a rut like I am right now, consider other ways you can work your craft room. So can you put a bookcase on a different wall? Can you turn your desk to have a different orientation? Or can you add extra storage under your desk? Whatever you can do to change things up a bit, I feel like it's a really nice way to kind of boost your mojo a bit. But thanks for joining today, peeps, and make sure that you're subscribed and you have the bell on and all of that jazz, because I've got lots of exciting things coming this year once we're unpacked and everything's nice and calm again, because right now we're in a lot of chaos. But I hope you have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you all very soon. Oh, and I was thinking of doing another live stream soon. So let me know, which month should I do the live stream in? This month? Next month? The one after? Let me know your thoughts on when it should be. Alright, see you soon. Bye!